Evening, Sandy. Jennifer, Alma, Joe, Esther, Susie, Jezza, Seldom, evening, brother. Andy Hughes. Right, guys, just while we're waiting for Nathan, because Nathan's coming on in a minute, there's something I want to tell you about that's happened earlier. I was a bit disgusted, really. Wake Up UK again, slating Rick. And I'm really disappointed in Bobby and Joseph because they know I'm a genuine person and I wouldn't hang around with such people who are not. They know when there was a voice in the wilderness, I gave them a platform and we had nearly 200,000 views on that video of theirs. And they've gone on tonight without doing any research, without doing any facts, and listen to Justin again, who is just out to bring this organisation down for whatever reason, and said that Rick has been slating Norman. Now, Norman's on here. We get on well. I haven't never had a crossword with Norman. We've never slated Norman. Neither has Rick. Not ever, ever. You watch any of his live feeds from day one, he's never even mentioned Norman's name. So why Joseph and Bobby have gone on the attack and said that Rick's attacked Norman and this, that and other, and he hasn't, ladies and gentlemen. And guys, please, you call yourself truth tellers. We never put facts out without doing it first. I believed in you guys, and all I'm asking you to do is the same in me. Go and do your research first. Because now, what's happened now, that video has gone out live today on Wake Up. Now, that video will be put everywhere. It'll be put on YouTube and everywhere. But of course, when you go to watch it, and you go to comments, it'll say, comments for this video are disabled. So anybody who does want to go on them and back Rick and say you've got it wrong, you ain't going to be allowed to. So it's not a truth channel. It's not a Wake Up UK. It's not. You can look at this video now, what I'm doing. Every single comment that comes on here, for or against, you can look in 6 months' time. And unless you have took it down or Facebook take this video off, every comment that's made on this video will still be here as long as the video's up. We don't delete comments. We don't delete people. Jason does, and he will do. And that's what really annoyed me with that video. Fair enough, if it's a video of slander, leave it up, leave the comments open. So people can go on there and put a different side to it. But now what's happened is they've gone on there with a narrative, again, to attack Rick, to make him look bad, and he's not. He's got every single one of you, your backs, and you don't realise it. But I ain't going to say much on it because Nathan's coming on now. But all I wanted to say is, when you watch these videos on Wake Up UK slandering all of us, you'll always see on the bottom, comments for this video are disabled. You can't get on there to put your point of view across. And that's supposed to be a free speech channel. Free speech my arse, Justin. Need to grow up here, and if you're going to make videos on somebody, at least leave the comments up and put it so you can comment, not disable the comments for it. So the only word and the only narrative going out is what's in that video, and nobody else can reply or comment on it. You're the scumbag for doing that, mate. Again, I've got to say it. I used to have a lot of respect for you, Justin. I ain't got any anymore because you ain't doing it right, mate. Like I said, anybody could come on here and have a pop at me and it'll be on here. I ain't got a problem. People will believe what they want to believe. But I wouldn't have the audacity to go onto the live feed and have a go at somebody and then disable the comments so nobody else can comment on it and nobody else can put their side, the other person's side of it, so it's a balanced argument. You're out of order, mate. And Wake Up UK, in my opinion, is not a free speech channel. But anyway, I'll leave it at that because I'm going to bring Nathan on now. Really bored my piss, that has, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but it has. I don't like anything like that. If you've got to be transparent. Hey, how you doing, mate? Sorry about that, mate. I had to get that off my chest before I bought you.
You pretty much said what I was going to say anyway. So, whole point. This is the thing. This is why we don't delete. We don't take things down. The whole point is everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So try and think for some reason you don't, or in some way you're
yes,
not
but Nathan, you've had Joseph and Bobby today. Obviously, Jason's been in the rear hole saying he's slagged this person off, he's slagged that person off, when he's not. And they've gone on without looking at any videos to see if it's true, and just gone with whatever Jason said and slated Rick for slagging Norman. And Rick has never slated Norman, mate. Never.
No.
Because I'd have picked him up if he had.
Yeah.
So I know 100% he hasn't.
I think the only
Unless
thing...
he's doing it behind all our backs, and I can't see him doing that.
No, I think the only thing I remember him ever saying about Norman is the fact that he needs to get away from Sean. That was it.
Yeah. And the only thing he's ever said about the Joseph and Bobby was when he was having that argument with Dave Russell on the phone. Dave Russell, when he was on the live, brought all these names up, and Rick went, oh, hang on a minute, Joseph and Bobby, I've never mentioned them. That was the only time Rick has ever mentioned them two lads' names. Yep. Ever. Yep. Go watch all these videos and see for yourselves. Jason is telling lies
people
again.
But this is the thing, people won't. People won't go and look at all the information. They won't look at both sides. No. I mean, so...
Evening, Sky. I hope it all went well today for you, Bab.
Yeah.
We are watching, supporting.
Yeah. Well done to you. Well done to you. Brave thing.
Yeah.
I doff my cap.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, enough about Jason and his fake up UK.
Yeah, fake up UK. Yeah.
So, right, what were you going to talk about, Nath?
Well, we did promise we'd go over the law for bedding packs. We could do that.
Yeah. We should have done this on yours then, because I ain't got them, you have.
It doesn't matter, I've got them.
Yes, but you're only small. You would have been big on the other one if you'd have done it on yours.
True. But we can always do another one anyway. We're going to have to do this a couple of times, I think, for people to get it anyway. But, yeah,
I've got some somewhere, but I just ain't got them on to hand.
This is sorry for the camera thing, but this is a laminated version of our pack. Basically, at the beginning, you've got Y, Lawful Rebellion. And it gives you a few points. It talks over a few things that have in the thing, 2 pages worth. I'll just say, I'm not going to read that out tonight, but you need to read that, make of it what you will. The main thing really is people have got to understand this is a 3-step process. Now this is for most, you'll find most processes within common law or our constitution, it usually goes down to a 3-step process. Now the first part of this process is your declaration. This is your intent to enter into Article 61 and basically put yourself under the jurisdiction of Article 61. You're actually compelled to. So this technically isn't really a choice. It's you either are on the right side of the law or you are not. If you want to break the law, then fine, just ignore it. If you don't, get it done. Right, that's the Article 61 form. The reason why we use that is because this is a form from an invoked Article 61 that is still outstanding. Still lawful, still outstanding. It was invoked in a lawful manner. We can argue over a couple of things they did, but doesn't matter. It stands in law. The Queen, to the point, like I said, even actually did reply. I believe it was on the 39th day. So it is, and remedy wasn't gained, so it's still in force. Yeah. This is why we say this, because this is fact in law. You know what I mean? So this is what you need for that. It's the Article 61.
And that is your
Basically,
notice of, that's your notice of intent, what is shown in there, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, basically, this is the document that pretty much states to the barons and to anybody who comes across you or deals with you that you've enacted a lawful stance. Basically, you have to act in a certain way by law because of what's happened, i.e., tyranny, given over to a foreign power, stuff like that. There's many reasons that are involved in this. It's not just one. This is why we use it. This is a constitutional document, and constitutional documents are pretty much in law the highest, pretty much that I can see you can get.
2 seconds, Nate. Norman, I'll contact you when the live feed's finished, mate. So I'll give you the bell.
Yeah. But basically, we've done most of it. It's all printed. When you print it out, it's all done for you. So basically, pretty much all you're doing is just filling it out. So it'll be the date, because that is very relevant. The date from when you sign. This is all signed and completed. Okay, that is very important because that is the date you enter into Article 61. Therefore, that is the date for your actions from then on have what you call a lawful backing. So you have excuse in law. And by the way, opinion does not give you any reason in law to act. It's a maximum law. Opinion does not give you the right to act in law. So there's no longer opinion. You're compelled to. It's a fact. Just that's it. Pretty much you can read that. That goes through basically what the barons have invoked and the reasons for them invoking. We'll leave it down to them because they know what they're doing. Like I said, this is a lawful document that was actually enacted, so therefore we'll leave that to them. Again, here that is where you'll fill in like these bottom bits here. You won't be able to see, but in the bottom bits it says printed, signed. This is where you'll put yourself here. To make this document lawful, once you fill out your bit, okay, to make it lawful, and this is pretty much with any document in law actually, it has to be witnessed. Witness means in a few different ways. One, people say that it needs to be witnessed that he is definitely you, because there is things, for instance, in law, and I was discussing this recently, sorry. If you are made to do something under duress, technically speaking, by law, yes, it's true. Therefore, law class is not your action. So if you do something under distress and it's stated in law as distress, then it's not your action. You're not liable for it. Whereas this you are, because this is not, even though you're compelled, this, whether it be done under stress or not. I mean, you do have that clause in it, and this will say it's you shouldn't think of it like that, but that it is in there. But this is a very, very powerful document. It's literally probably the highest document we have, I'd say, because this is our get out clause. This is the fix for any problems with our constitution. This is the fix. That's why we have it. That's why it's there, because we've been through these problems before. Let's not keep going through them. But to make this document lawful, it has to be witnessed. So it has to be witnessed to make sure it is you that is doing it. That's why it has to be 3 people that know you, that can witness that it is indeed you signing this document, and it is you on this document, and it is factual.
But not family members.
No, it can't be family members or blood related, anything like that. So it can't be related through marriage, blood. I think that's pretty much it. So your cousins, your aunts, your uncles cannot witness for you. It has to be genuine people of the community, as they say. So this means people that you have no affiliation to you, i.e., like we say, no blood relation and not married. Therefore, like friends and things like that can, because they stand in the community on their own, on their oath. 3 witnesses, therefore, it's something, technically, I keep saying, many reasons, technically speaking, why the 3 will keep popping up. But it's a number in nature. That's all I can say. It's a number in nature, so you'll have to deal with this 3-step process and this 3 witness and that lot quite a lot. Right, that's the declaration. It's pretty much straightforward. I just wanted to explain a little bit of the witness side of it because people don't understand. That's the part that makes a document lawful. because it's been witnessed. You have to basically get this wet ink signed, so it needs to be done with a pen, preferably red ink, as we keep saying. Therefore, you can see the overlapping of the ink. You know it's live. Therefore, we know it's a true autograph technically. Don't sign it, because we will be using your legal fiction. What was I saying? No, I just went totally off. Sorry, people. But yeah, so the 3 people make it lawful. Okay, that is one of the main parts. The other part is you actually have to have evidence, really, of you sending this off to the Baron. So that's why we say recorded delivery, because you have it monitored from the post office you've put it in. So there's evidence of you posting it. There's evidence of it being received at the address. Therefore, the notice has been served. We suggest Royal Mail, because let them argue it out. But that's the way we suggest to do it. That way, you have then made your first step. You are now entered under Article 61. You've made your declaration. So your intent is now known. But to make sure, and to back this up again, it needs to be backed up. Usually a 3-step process, like I said. You have the affidavit of truth. Now, an affidavit of truth basically is it's your sworn personal testimony. So it is the truth as it is to you. Okay, so this is your reality. Pretty much, all you have to really do is, we've done it in black there because it's easier to actually read on the thing, but usually it's done in red. We suggest what you should do is write it out in pen, so by hand. You basically just copy what's on there, just replacing the fake names and etc. with your own name. And then you just fill it out as it is, just in red ink. Tells you what to do. This is the thing. All this pack really explains itself. It tells you exactly what to do when you read it. I just want to explain certain parts of it because some people are getting a bit confused. But the affidavit of truth is just your truth. So basically, you just copy this out, and all this is saying, look, yep, it is me. I'm telling you now, I intend to do this. I haven't done this out of haste. This is my will. Here's my affidavit of truth. I stand by Article 61. That's your affidavit of truth. And that's the whole point.
2 seconds, Nath. Diane Seal, how can I do what to you? If you've got in touch with me and I can help you, I will help you. If I can't, I will give you names of people who will. And as far as for blocking you, if I'd blocked you, you wouldn't be on this live feed now because you'd be blocked. Yeah. So that's bullshit. I haven't blocked you at all. If you've disappeared off my friends list, that's not down to me. That's either Facebook or you. I don't block anybody. You're not blocked. If you was blocked, you wouldn't be on this feed now. And as for, you've given me a number, you probably have given me a number, and I've passed it on to people. And I have tried to help. I try and help everybody. If I can help you, I will. But some things I ain't really up on, like social services and stuff like that, I don't deal with, but I'll pass you on to people who will. And I have helped many people. If they haven't got back to you, that's not down to me. That's down to them.
People do have to understand this. Sorry, people do have to understand. It's like there is technically a very, very small group of people actually trying to help people at the moment, without a financial gain to it or anything like that. This is the thing. So these people are overloaded. We're overloaded.
And as for talking about the twins, I was not talking about the twins. I said they've been ill-advised. I wasn't slating the twins. I was telling them they've been ill-advised because they put false information out tonight. Totally false.
Yep. Which is going to
100% false. And they've got to stand by that now because they have. It's not true. It's not correct. So what do you want me to do? I know them. I like them. They're my friends. Do you want me to just let them lie and then be pulled up later on about things? I'd rather tell them now to do the research so they can alter it. Because Rick never mentioned Norman in any videos. I wasn't slating the brothers. I was telling them, I was actually slating the guy who runs the show, and that's Jason. So you want to get your facts right before you come on here. You're the one who's quick to judge, not me.
Maxim of law,
Carry
let
on,
those
Dan.
who be maxim of law, let those who be deceived. And that doesn't mean you just ignore people. That means you tell them the truth. If they are not willing to accept it, it is down to them. But you have to tell them the truth. You can't just ignore it. This is the whole point. It is a way of being with the Constitution and common law, because it's the way it is. It's about community. It's community laws. It's what people understand. But there you go. That's your affidavit. So basically, your affidavit is basically the second part. It's basically saying, look, I haven't just done this out of haste. Here you go. It is the next part. I'm telling you now that I still intend to do this, and that's what that's for.
But that's also got to be in red ink, Dave. Your
Yeah, that's all got to
affidavit.
be medic. Personally, we've always said the same thing: no black ink unless you're in contract, no blue ink. So always write in red ink, and then any lawful document you're writing as a living man or woman. So pretty much the best go-to thing is just, even if technically speaking you are even contracting, sometimes the best thing to do is go with red, because it can always be corrected. But always go with red, because it's your jurisdiction, you're stating you're a living person. If you're going black, then that's an obituary, because that's what it technically is. Black ink is when you write in your obituary. So don't write in black, write in red. Blue is contracts, you're contracting with someone. So basically every time you write, like people, like children write at school in blue. Every time they write in blue, they're actually contracting themselves with the school. And we don't understand they're doing this. They're okaying. Basically what happens is the teacher says, da, 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 and then our children, and we're allowing this through our consent, our children then contract with that teacher to say, yes, what you're teaching me is okay. Let your children write in red, and then let's try and see how quickly the school kick off. Right, claim of right.
Same, red ink.
Yep, same. Already, as I said, always right. Me. Your claim of right is basically, it's the final notice. It's the third part. This is where you said, right, like I said, I've had enough. I've gone into Article 61. Here's my declaration, and then you've basically written a letter to him, and you basically, it tells you who to send it to, and then you just do the information for your local area. And then you get to your affidavit, and that means you're sort of like, no, I've slept on it. Here's my letter. No, I plan to do this. This is the truth. No, I truly believe. I've had enough. Going into Article 61. As we say, this is the third part. This is the final notice, technically. What it is. This is your claim of right. This is basically, it is a notice. It is a notice to everybody. And basically what you're saying is you claim your rights. And this is your final, this is it. You mean it 100%. This is your final bit. This is all you have to do. This is the last bit. You mean it. Okay. This is where it really, when you say, I really mean it and I'm going to act on it. Like I said, and an opinion does not give you right to act in law. Try it. You'll be in prison.
Yes, blue. Victoria just said it's got to be red, not blue, because blue is contractual.
Yes, blue is contract, yes. Not blue. Red. Just write in red. Always write in red. And like I said, you can always change your font. We didn't here because, like, as we said, we've done it in black because it's more easier visible. Because we have done it in red and people will complain you couldn't see it. Even with no logo or anything, people were saying in red it was a bit, and it was costing lots of print. So we've done it in black. It's cheaper and it's easier to see. That's it. Not because we're contradicting ourselves. We've clearly stated this from the beginning. It's basically just so you can read it, and people are used to reading it in black. But this means nothing because, like I said, these are not lawful documents. They state quite clearly throughout the document that this is a fake name. This is not a real name. This is a thing. So it's quite clearly what it is. Just an instruction. You'll have documents that look like this, and the reason why I hold this up because you'll see down the bottom in the red, you'll have some things there. Now they are thumbprints and stamps. There's been a bit of confusion because there was a belief for a little while, and it was an idea that if you put a stamp on a document, and with a bit of knowledge of giving weight to paperwork, that it gives the paperwork meaning, to which it does. and this is what we base it on, because this is what, technically speaking, what the court system does. When you've spent, basically, when you pay for the stamp is, technically speaking, it's like an IOU. It's kind of a promise to pay type thing. It's a bearer thing. It's a payment sort of thing, if you get me. A bit like our power notes, and it's not money. I mean, it's not money. It's based on IOU. That's what it says, promise to pay bearer. As I said, when you buy a stamp, there's that stamp is the payment. So therefore, it has to be in a document, because that document has to have payment to be sent. So, technically speaking, and this is the thing, it gives paperwork weight. The court use it, okay? But to give the paperwork weight, it has to have, in law, it has to have some, as far as we're aware from what we're reading, it has to have some sort of precious metals involved. Now, in the money we've got today, in what we have, closest to it is the pound. That has some precious metals in it. The rest of them don't. 50p don't, 2p's don't, 1p's don't. Certain denominations, technically speaking, it's like, for instance, and I keep saying this, if you've got 1p's, technically speaking, they're not legal tender unless they're 20p groups. And so there's 21p's. Technically speaking, I mean, there's loads to read on it. It can be quite confusing, but I mean, it is there. But you use it, so it's a pound of weight. So you've got a bit of precious. That paper now has a bit of gold attached to it. So it gives the paperwork weight. It's worth something. So it means more than something else.
Right, Nave. Mickey Kelly. Fuck off with your constitutional ways and laws mean fuck all to us. Why? Because those in power change. I can't fucking read it, Nave. Those in change the laws to suit themselves. Why have you constitutionalists not took out a court case against the government for going against a democratic vote, etc., etc.? Well, the reason, Michael, is because...
Show me a lawful court. Show me a court that has authority in this land.
No, I'm just going to explain that to you. Because at the moment, they are all tyrannous and corrupt. Why do you think we're calling for everybody to go into rebellion for? So we can use the law of the Constitution to bring these tyrannous, corrupt fuckers in the Parliament back into honour, remove them from their jobs, even the corrupt courts, which you ain't going to do as one or two people, but if you get the people into rebellion, you can do it under rebellion. And that's why we're calling for it.
And this is the whole point, because this whole point, because we have some wins, we have some losses, things that, like I said, you do even with the statute courts. People have tried in saying we need to come together now. This is what needs to change. I mean, we're not going to get anything changed unless we change it in law. That's why we go for law, not statute or something like that, because they're more powerful. It's the highest. So if you get something changed in law, it's there forever. So
exactly. If you try and fight them legally in a court, you'll never beat them, ever.
No, it's designed so you don't.
Beat them with the law. And our constitution law stands above any acts and statutes they've tried to put in to subvert it ever since.
And they may not want to. And they may not want to admit it, and they may have taught us for generations to think otherwise, but it doesn't stop it being fact. And this is a problem.
Why do you think they're so frightened of the Constitution? Why do you think they're so frightened of it for?
And sovereignty. They absolutely hate anything to do with the people being sovereign. That's why Parliament have been trying to make sovereignty acts and things like that. Well, they did in 1911. Like I said, but this is the thing, until we actually stand up as a people, even with our constitution, because I'm not being funny, there is actually problems within our constitution. But the only way of doing that actually is to stand up and make the constitutional argument. You've got to do that as the people, because the people are the only ones that can do this, technically speaking, by law. Because nothing can be changed within our constitution without the people okaying it. So if we stand up like we have done with, unfortunately, the bloody revolution and the Magna Carta, then we change things in law, because we are sovereign. Power lies with us. Despite what you say, despite what everyone else says, our rights could never have been given away in the first place. So stick to what we know. Like I said, we're going to get our laws back, going to get our constitution back. it's going to have to be through the people. They don't want us to have any powers. They don't want us to have freedoms and free will and liberties, because that means that they can't control us. It means that they don't have as much power as they want to. And this is the thing about power. Our politicians, our police force, everything, they are actually there as a public service. We live in a service society. That's the whole point. We pay our taxes. It's meant to go to services. I mean, technically speaking, they're double dipping in all of them. That's why most things are becoming unlawful, because they are double dipping. But they just work basically by giving themselves bonus stuff like that. But the politicians, everything, everything's already paid for. It's already there. They're making you pay on top. It's a service. It's a job. They provide a service. I mean, they're there to serve the country.
We will be doing something. We are doing something shortly in the next week or two that's going to prove to everybody yet again that all you need to do is lose the fear, and we're going to show you the Constitution works again, and then it's down to everybody else. All we can do is show you. We have showed you before. We'll show you it again, and then you've got to believe it yourselves. It's no good just waiting for half a dozen people to keep showing you the way. You've got to get involved yourselves. You've got to get in rebellion. You've got to send the forms off and back us.
Back each other.
Because I guarantee it, we'll go and do this action again in the next week or two. We'll do it. We'll stream it live like we always do, and we'll show everybody. Look what these have just done again. They ain't got no fear. Blah blah blah. The Constitution must work because nothing's happened to them again. But then still people won't get on board. So what can we possibly do other than keep showing you? We ain't a million people. We're a small group of people, but we need millions behind us to get, or not behind us, but we need millions more to join us in rebellion and go and do your own actions, and you'll see for yourself. We can't be everywhere, but there's Newcastle, Sunderland, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, you name it, Bristol, Exeter, all over the place. You can all do your own actions once you've seen what we're going to do, and it proves it works again. You haven't got to keep relying on anybody else. You, all of us, the people, are the ones who are going to get this country back, not individual leaders. It's not going to happen trying to rely on people, because once you have half a dozen leaders, all they'll do is lift them leaders and it's job done. You've got to have a nice Spartacus situation where the people as a whole are the movement. And you take one out, even if it's somebody at the top, it doesn't matter, because everybody else is going to carry on the fight.
I mean, the best thing would actually happen is if everybody would rise up and take it their local district. And say, look, we're all under Article 61. We're not having this no more. This is the thing. You can't be violent, people. The thing, when you go onto Article 61, you cannot initiate any form of violence. I mean, you're allowed to defend yourself. Don't get me wrong. It's not a case of, oh, well, I just have to let people kick the crap out of me. You can defend yourself and all that, but you have to do it within the rules of law. So you have to be attacked first. But you don't go out being violent. It's lawful actions, and there is lawful things you can do. Article 61, and we're going to post it, and I'll read it out again, like I did a few lives ago, tells you exactly what you're allowed to do. And we'll explain it we'll explain Article 61 in a bit more depth. But it tells you what you can do. So let's start doing it.
Listen, guys, we ain't lost anything at all. We can still get this country back. But we ain't going to get it back with a defeatist attitude. You've got to all want to do it. You've got to all have this country here. And for your kids and your grandkids and future generations, you've got to have that fight in here. If you've all got the fight in there, we can do it. Simple as.
See, it's the thing. Reference the entity becomes real. And I know a lot of people say this is very stupid, but it's actually a lawful fact. Whilst we keep acknowledging the EU, it is a fact, therefore it is. If we don't acknowledge the EU, it's not a fact. Then in law, therefore it's not.
Norman, if common, I can't fucking read it. In common law, can we still demand that we weigh our veg in pounds?
Technically speaking, the metric marks case was one, so we should be able to use pounds and ounces, not in this country. That's been the metric marker case is one of the bits that we sort of uncovered, found out that we do actually have a constitution. Here it is, it's proven because it was a constitutional argument, and the metric martyrs won.
Well, you still get scales that weigh in pounds and stones and ounces.
It's just your choice to use kilograms, etc. Right. This is the thing. This is what people don't understand. It's like we technically choose everything we do by free will, because if we didn't want to do it, we wouldn't do it. So if you didn't want to use millimeters, you wouldn't. Because not being funny, it's like
we are governed by consent.
Mm-hmm.
That's top and bottom of it. If you're all not saying anything, then you're consenting.
Yeah, science is complicitness. So if you're silent, you're saying yes, because you have no opposition.
If everybody stood up in this country and says, no, we want to go back to this way, we want to do this, we want to do that, they'd have no choice but to do it, because you are governed by consent. But if they just change from pounds to kilograms, etc., and nobody says anything, of course they'll do it, because your silence is your consent to say, yes, we want it done that way, we'll change. So we've only got ourselves to blame.
Yep. There's actually quite, it's like, for instance, the changes from feet to inches. It was quite clever the way they've done it, because they actually started attacking the work sector first, i.e. the building trade. They actually started attacking that first, where the point employers was asking for people who would do it in millimeters, etc. So if you didn't meet the job description, if you'd done it, then you didn't meet the job description, they could say no. And you got to know. It's quite simple. You know what I mean? Things were made cheaper for the companies if they did it that way. Like you've been doing all the way along. I've been saying to many companies, it's like, well, if you come and like put your HQ over here, we'll give you a tax break. That's what they do. They move out of our country, out of the UK, should I say, and they go over to the EU mainland. This has been happening for the last 40 years. And we've allowed it, unfortunately. But like I said, we've allowed it because we did know, but we didn't know. We all know this has been wrong. We all know that what the politicians has been wrong for a long time, like when we go to wars and things like that. It's just we've never stood up and done nothing about it. But we've never known, but we do now. We have Article 61. We have actually a way of stopping this now. We actually a way of overriding them all and saying, stop. And like I said, I've tried. I used to be of a political mind where I would actually have an opinion. Don't have an opinion on politics anymore, because to me it's out the window. As I said, until for me, as it stands, politicians get to do whatever they want, basically, and there's no consequence. I think you should go back to the old ways. They basically govern us by the constitution and by law, so they have to act in certain ways for our benefit rather than our detriment. And I think if they don't do this, they should face penalty. And unfortunately, at the moment, MPs can do this and just walk out without a conviction. That's it. Nothing happens. And like I said, this is a problem with deselection. Unless there is a penalty for these people, deselection is nothing, because all you've done is say, well, I'm not going to give you this job, but you or someone else will give them a job that gives them a near enough wage to what they was getting anyway. So there's no real harm or foul to these people in that way. They need a penalty.
You know, all these cars coming in, why do they make their windscreen wipers go left to right? What's that about? Well,
the plan takeover here was done from the 20s onwards. But the main part of it was done through the 40s, 50s. Like I said, it's been planned. Like I said, it's been step-by-step process, and they've always done it. Every treaty, every act, everything that's come out, literally everything that's come out of the EU has been done that benefits Germany, only Germany. So Germany as a power has been growing, whereas everyone else has been diminishing. Is what people don't understand. Sovereignty has been
the unification, Nath. The unification. We talked about this 12 months ago. It was planned whether the EU had Brexit or not. That was a secret deal and May signed it. We talked about that 12 months ago.
I mean, there has been many times. I mean, this is the thing. People, there's actually a documentary I watched a little while ago. I can't remember it now. I'll try and find it again. Actually, it has pretty much most of all this in it anyway. But the thing is, the EU is governed by Germany. Germany is a big country. People don't realise this. They think it's not. Germany is a big country, as far as Europe's concerned. What you need to ask yourself is why the EU stops at the Russian border.
Exactly. It stops at the Russian border because Russia is a lot bigger country than Germany. That's the reason it stops at the border, because that's what people ain't getting. The EU, it's all about the Fourth Reich.
It's down to territory, and this is the thing. The EU doesn't want Russia to be part of the EU and they will never allow it to anyway, because as Gary says, on land mass and territories, Russia, technically speaking, is a bigger country than Germany, so therefore it'd be a rival to Germany within the EU for control. Because this is what you don't understand as a single market. As much as people say it's free, it's equal across. It's not. It's designed in a way to benefit Germany. As I said, Germany is the biggest country, therefore biggest land mass, biggest population, etc., etc. So the most money that goes into the EU goes to Germany. It just goes through back doors, because they ain't been doing it blatantly, the same as their treaties. Every treaty, every act has always got a few hooks, a few alleyways coming off it. Like I said, and it's for future, so they can in future pick up. Go, by the way, there's something we haven't quite sorted from this. We'll just do that, but it includes this. But we'll just make. I guess that's one sorted, isn't it? Because that's been causing problems. Like I said, problem solution.
And if Russia was part of it, they know. Germany know. Russia. Can you imagine Germany telling Russia like they're telling us what to do? Wouldn't happen.
So the EU and Russia have been at war for some time, and it's down to land mass and territory. Like I said, the EU wants to swallow as much land mass and territory as it possibly can. That's why they, like with us, and they've done it with the euro and everything. No matter what the EU want, they just steamroll it. They just carry on regardless, and it's worked for us up till now. This is where we've got to make sure it doesn't. Like I said, they're going to carry on regardless. They just need to realise they're going to carry on without us. But if we don't stand up, they will just steamroll over it. This is what they've done to everything with every country. Like I said, and don't look at France as well, because France has basically signed a deal that benefits them. I mean, they was in a crappy position, in a proper crappy position. So I don't blame any single one of them. Like I said, I will say one thing. Like I said, there's certain battles that show the French who they were. But again, like I said, with Russians, the thing with Germany, us and the Russians is what they don't like is we've actually backed the Russians quite a few times because they've been right. And like I said, a lot of it is to do with territory. It's land mass, and it's Germany, it's this united Europe, this supranational Europe. And that's another reason why I want to get rid of the Supreme Court, because I do not like the idea of a supranational law. Sorry, I don't. I think it's deplorable to think that every law in every country should be as it is, as they choose it. Like I said, every community should live as they are, and they want to. But it is technically a landmass battle. It's been going on for ages. That's why the Ukraine is neutral and has been, I think, since the Second World War. I'm not sure. Ukraine's always been there. That's the bit everyone argues over. You've got Crimea, but then Russia's taken that back. But they was going to take that back anyway because Crimea classed themselves as Russian anyway, and they wanted a referendum for independence, and wasn't given one basically. So they went anyway. Russia just took the landmass back. This links to certain things in the Middle East. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I will just stick with mainland Europe. That's why, as much as people think it's not a united Europe, because it can't be a united Europe without Russians. So it falls on that factor anyway. And like I said, this is all land mass. So
this was tried. What's happening here now? Because Russia was the biggest country in Europe, it was tried in Russia. You know this, Nathan, in the late 80s. It was tried by the Russian oligarchs. They tried to get Russia and take over Russia.
Well,
and they did.
Pretty much did.
To a certain point, but then along come Putin. And Putin saw what these people, because actually Putin started off one of the oligarchs. He was one of them.
But Putin's
And
a
he
nationalist.
started off and he was doing their bidding. And when they elected him in as president, that's when he saw what they actually did. And it made him feel sick because what they did to the Russian people. And he was the one who went after the oligarchs one by one to put them in prison, etc., etc. And where did they all end up, Knife?
In prison. Or dead.
Or in Britain.
Or in Britain, yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is what people don't realise about
Who do you
what they
think?
call
Who
the
do you think?
exile of the oligarchs, which
Yeah.
most of them actually are wrapped up in the City of London.
And part of them, what's his fucking name now? Abramovich, Chelsea. He was one of them. He was one of the oligarchs that was part of it.
He was, yes. But this is the thing. Putin was a nationalist, and this is another reason why the EU doesn't like Russia and the Russia control, because it's nationalist control. So it's what benefits Russia. Like I said, it's in Europe. It doesn't benefit the countries for the country. This is the thing. This is why we want to leave, and this is why we've always had our independence, and we've fought for our independence for thousands of years, because it's always been the way. What's good for us is good for us. What's good for them is good for them. The way it should be.
And all you've got to remember is if they unify all the armies throughout Europe, right, and you all become an EU army, how can you be an independent country? What they keep flagging, you'll still be an independent country, but how will you be an independent country when you've got no fighting force? Because it's all coming from Europe. You ain't got no say who you go to war with, who you don't go to war with, because Europe will be telling you, the EU. So how are you an independent? You'll still be an independent nation. No, you won't.
No. And this is what a lot of people don't realise. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it, but it is on the cards. National conscription. And I said to the EU army, this is a thing, and I think by the Lisbon Treaty, we would still be liable, even our grandchildren, things like that. They would be liable if at any point it come out. It's like, no, everyone from Europe within, think that's it. We take it from everyone. We need you. And I said we'd be liable, even though we're meant to be an independent country.
Yeah. No, and it's too late when it happens, because you can ignore the letters as much as you like, but then you'll just get the knock on the door. We've come for your son or your daughter. They're coming with us. And they'll have all the paperwork with them that tells them that they can do it and what you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And once it's happened. Yeah. You can do something now if you fight now before it happens.
Yeah.
Too late once you've allowed it.
So this is the thing, the Lisbon Treaty is the first treaty, I believe, so far where there's no back door. There's no out. There's no way out of that treaty.
No.
So that's where we're pretty much seeing that the EU are making their final move. This is where they swallow Europe. This is where Germany swallows Europe. And people, I know it's saying this is not anything to do with German people. Actually, this is to do with Germany, the corporation of Germany.
Yeah.
This is all to do what benefits them, not the people. I mean, I'm not being funny. Look at the situation they've got at the moment. The reason why the migrant situation started is because Germany en masse hasn't got enough workforce because they haven't been reproducing enough. This is what a lot of people don't tell you. It's not that we populate too much, we're actually a minority in the world, actually. They didn't reproduce, so Germany had to bring in a workforce, and they have. And they had the same view for the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
They're going to pop up the workforce because at a time after when they gain complete control, you'll see all the mines open, you'll see everything like that happen, and then you'll see a time like we've seen before. And then we'll be thinking we've been here before.
Their excuse for all the migrants is we're not producing enough children in Europe. The white people in Europe are not producing enough people. Well, why not encourage the white people to produce more children?
Yep.
Why not encourage your own nation, people of your own nation who are already there, encourage them to have more children and you'll pay for it? Because that's all you're doing with the migrants.
Well, this is the thing.
Ask yourself that question. Why are they not saying to every individual people, you know, families, you've got our blessing, have more children, boost the population, if that's what they want to do. If that was the true, no,
It's
but
like,
now if that was the true nature of it, that's all they needed to do.
yeah. But they didn't. They actively tried getting us to avoid procreating and reproducing. A lot of this was again like the Second World War and things like that, due to rations and bits like that. Again, I keep saying this: the First World War and the Second War were the same war, just fought at different times. It just
Yeah.
basically it didn't work, so they had to change tack. So now they're basically financially and economically, should I say, would be the better word. Germany have set out, and they are basically at the point with the Lisbon Treaty where they will economically control Europe. They won't do it with a military force. That'd be France. But the thing is, what you don't realise is France has actually already signed a deal with Germany. They did after the Second World War. They had to. Don't blame them. Sorry, but I don't. That benefit them better than anything. So they will hold the military force, and then they'll just do what Germany tells them to. If they don't, Germany will just completely they'll just destroy their economy, like Soros and all their powers have done for ages. That will take the Russians, for instance. He helped with that one, didn't he, old Soros?
And he was behind the oligarch thing.
He's both about
Russia.
destroying the economy. He destroyed Russia's economy. I mean, they destroyed Russia's economy to gain control of Russia. That's how desperate and how ruthless and willing they are. And this is what's happening with Europe now. They are destroying the economies so they can rebuild theirs.
What they
Well,
did in Russia, ladies and gentlemen, what they did in Russia was they collapsed the economy, right? And then they said to the people, every single person in Russia, there's 10,000 rubles. That is your share of the country. And then they created a famine. They stopped all the stuff coming into the country for the factories. So all the factories went bump. And then what they did, because there was a famine on, no cigarettes, no, you couldn't get no beef, no chicken, no nothing like that, because they stopped it all coming in. So that then the oligarchs, what they did was very clever. All these 10,000 rubles, they were saying, because you could still buy stuff on the black market, but all you got was 10,000 ruble check. We'll buy them that 10,000 ruble check off you for 100 rubles. And because people were starving, they sold them for 100 rubles, 10,000 rubles for 100 rubles, just so they could go and buy some cigarettes and food on the black market. Then when they accumulated all the money off the people, all these 10,000 rubles, they went to all the factories in the iron mine and all the iron and the mines, all the mines, the iron mines and that. They went to them because they was all failing. We'll give you X amount. They was buying it for a tenth of the price, but they was selling it because they hadn't got no money. They were starving. And that's what they did to the Russian people. And then when
they
Putin
gave the
found
Russian
out
people
how
no
bad it
choice
was, that's when he stepped in.
because Putin
Go
thought
and
it
do
was
the
actually
research.
genuine.
Don't listen to me. Go and do your research. Go and look it for yourself. You'll see what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Putin actually thought the family everything was genuine. Then he found out the truth. He was horrified. He took action. I said, "This is the thing." And the EU are doing the same. They have done for a long time. I mean, let's look at. There's been 4 conflicts, by the way. People keep saying that, because I've said this before. Our constitution basically kept peace within our lands and that's the Commonwealth, within our lands for over 1,000 years. That's pretty well doing. The EU project, since we've been in it, we've been involved in 4 conflicts under the EU rule. Actually, on that one, not very good. Like I said, and what we're seeing now is, in fact, and actually we're seeing this across Europe with certain bits and pieces, is many armed forces are now being discredited because of the EU project is now basically discredit them to then basically build their EU army. They want to build a reputation of the EU army. To do that, you have to disprove the reputation of all the national armies. Hate nationalism, hate it. They want to be supranational. They don't want to be national. I said they've done it to the army. They'll do it to our pound as well. Watch, get to the point where the euro will go higher than the pound, so we'll be stupid not to take the pound. That was their plan anyway. It's not going to work now. But we'd have been stupid not to take the euro on, And then they would have done it the same way. They would have said, look, here's a booster. We'll give you this if you're willing to take it on. And then basically we'd have took loads on, and then the euro would drop because they can afford for it to happen. The euro would drop, and all of Europe would be worthless for a little while. And then they would do the same thing. They would just reclaim it back.
You've only got to look at decimalisation in the 70s. You had 240 odd pennies to the pound. All of a sudden, you dropped to 100. Everybody lost half the money in one go.
Yep. And they will do it. I mean, the bank situation. This is the reason why a lot of people don't seem to realise is £1 trillion debt is about to be put on Europe once Europe's gained under complete control. That's from the banks. We already have it now installed in most countries, in pretty much all the countries across Europe, that central banks can basically rob you in your account to basically pay for their failings. Basically, we pay to bail them out. So I'm telling you now, watch, because it has to happen. It will happen. Europe's going to see an economical crisis. The banks are going to melt down, and everyone's money and everything is going to be taken. And it's going to be for the greater good. So it'll be okay. It'll be okay because it's for the greater good.
Yeah. And that's another thing that they did exactly the same. It's all mirroring what happened in Russia. They crashed all the banks. People was going to the bank, and all of a sudden they put the money in or went in the bank. You've got none in. It's gone. Well, where's it gone? Because I haven't drawn it out. The banks are crashed.
Yep, there's nothing. There's no money.
No. And this is why people are now saying, get your money out of the bank and invest it in whatever you feel is right.
I mean, most people say,
silver, whatever you believe it to be right.
Most people say different things, isn't it? It's a speculative market. This is our point. I mean, we've now got things where you can buy shares and things like lithium and things like that. I said, I don't know enough about it, so I wouldn't advise anybody. I mean, I know enough to say that I know certain precious metals are always going to be worth things, especially now we have a pretty much a worldwide society of electronics. Things like silver, gold, and that lot. Silver, for instance, is used in most of our electronics. As people don't understand this, but it is. You know what I mean? But do your own will. I mean, because it is down to you at the end of the day. But like I said, banks are about to crash. Like I said, and it'll be a time when I'll be glad that I haven't got any money. I've got too many kids to have money.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But just before we go, Nath, we'll just tell them again, watch this space, because in the next week or so, we will be doing an action and we'll prove to you that our constitution is alive and well.
Well, like I said, there's a process involved in all this. And like I said, we're just going to be just doing a bit of the process. Like I said, it's everyone can follow on after this.
Yeah, we'll be showing you the next process, and then it'll be down to you guys what you do after that. Whether you want to join it or whether you want to come to go down the plan, it's up to you.
Yeah.
But I won't be going down the plan with a fight.
Seldom. I think you bang on there. Hemp is definitely something. I mean, we used to have a whole industry built on hemp that was killed off. A lot of actually by big pharma, technically speaking. I've said about this before. I mean, all the wild hemp fields were cut down because the cattle used to graze on them. Basically, we had CBD in our diet. But we used to have a whole industry built on hemp. Hemp is amazing. We've got things now like hempcrete, hemp plastics, all these things will actually stop half of what most of these globalists crack on about. I mean, let's use a natural product to make our stuff that we can regrow, and it makes it sustainable. But people don't want to look at solutions like that. Like I said, the first thing is, like I said, first port of call though to sort any of this lot out is to reinstall law, because if we want our laws to work and we want things to happen, then we have to make sure our laws are going to make these things happen. While we're going on about our political things, that lot, it won't work. politics is dead.
And we've both said this as well. Once the EU take back control of this country properly, like they want to, you watch the mines all open back up. All of a sudden, the coal mines will all open back up. It was done for a reason. So anyway, I'll speak to you soon, Nate. And
I'll do another one.
Get a bit of this space, guys, and we'll show you the way soon how to put these on notice and that.
And hopefully that's explained a few bits in the pack that most people were getting confused about.
Yeah.
All right. Again,
Okay.
thank you, everyone. See you later.
See you later.
And I'll speak to you soon, mate. All right.
Yes,
Night,
mate.
everyone. Stay safe. Take care.
Stay safe, guys, and speak to you all soon.